Hello,
Hello, Kalin. How are you?
I'm good. Everything good with the sound and everything?
Yes, everything good. We can hear you. Uh, but first, we are great to see you here today. It's great that you accepted our offer for participation in our conference. So I give the floor to Kalin. Kalin, please continue.
Thank you. My name is Kalin, and I'm in the SEO industry in one way or another for the last 15 years. I have been uh, selling a lot of links, building a lot of PBNs for many years. Then there were some Google penalties, some ups and downs. In the end, my team, and which later became a larger company, pivoted to sourcing domains for PBNs, 301 redirects, and other SEO techniques. And we are now the largest provider in the world for such domains. We own uh, sorry. Can you see my presentation or just
Uh,
me?
just you,
Ah,
but
okay, okay,
now
okay.
now we
Yes.
can see
Okay.
presentation.
Okay. So we scaled a lot in the last years. The company grew to 100 people, and we now own 150,000 domains. Most of them we bought for SEO purpose. We also sold a lot of domains. And now we manage this huge portfolio and have a very wide view of how expired domains are used in the SEO industry. I'm gonna call them SEO domains from now on because some are expired, some are not expired, some are bought from auctions, some are bought directly from owners. This terminology is confusing to a lot of people. So I just gonna call SEO domains all expired and non-expired domains that are used for SEO purpose. The domain market in which our company operates, because we are now more of a domain company than an SEO company, has only one rule: supply and demand. If something has low supply and high demand, it becomes expensive, harder to find, and it may be better to be replaced with something similar that has lower demand and is thus cheaper. For example, at the moment, an expired domain in Indonesia, Malaysia, Kenya, uh, emerging economies with very low supply of domains and some demand cost 5 to 10 times more than an expired domain in the UK, which doesn't make much economic sense until you remember that it's all supply and demand. So, how does SEO domains fit in the world of SEO? SEO is a strange thing because when website A links to website B, website A gives a lot of value to website B, but doesn't lose the value and can link to website C and D and a lot of other websites without losing the value at all, which is not something you generally see in economics. So SEO, I think, should be approached different to other types of economics and different to other types of marketing. It's just a big value grab. Google gives the value, and you should grab as much as possible. The more you scale, the more value you manage to take. So in this case, it's not a matter of if you should scale. It's a matter of how much you are able to. So with link juice, you absolutely want a lot of link juice flowing to your website or websites, and SEO domains with the backlink profile are a way to scale this link juice indefinitely. Every other approach, like guest posts and buying links, sooner or later hits a wall that you don't have suitable links to buy or suitable websites to outreach. But with SEO domains, the wall comes so far in the future that you'll probably never hit it. And there are PBNs in existence with more than 10,000 websites, which is more to rank basically anything you provide the diversity needed, that these are not your only links. But in pure link juice and for heavy homepage links, this is by far one of the most effective strategies. How do you choose an SEO domain? Do you choose a lot of not so powerful domains, so cheaper, or there's some balance here? But what a lot of people do is they try to get domains that are available, very weak, let's say DR 15, 20 referring domains, one or two good links from authority websites. I'm not saying this is a bad strategy, but I think it's less effective than buying some a little better domains. Here's why. When you invest $50 for a domain, you also invest about $50 to create a website, a PBN. You invest something in content, something WordPress, to install it, to get some unique theme, not have any fingerprints. You invest something for hosting. All of these other investments then the domain contributes nothing to your link juice. They're just to cover up your footprints for Google. So the power comes from the domain or the link juice that's flowing to your money site. But the camouflage, or the PBN, the content, it also costs money. And this money is constant. Whether you buy a $50 or $10 or $200 domain, you still have to spend around $50. A bit more, a bit less for the camouflage. So if you get a domain for $10 and spend $50 for camouflaging so Google doesn't catch you, it's not a very effective equation in the end for the money you spend, because you spend less on link juice and more on covering up. If you get a domain for $200, then you spend more on link juice and less for the cover up. So it gets more effective the more expensive the domain is in this regard. On the other hand, I would say that 10 links from DR30 domains will help more than one link from DR45 domain, because there are 10, you can do some diversity, target different anchors. So you shouldn't go overboard and start doing PBNs with domains costing $10,000, although I have seen people do this in very competitive niches in the Western markets. But it would be better to have some balance between quality, price, and quantity. And about how clean the domain should be, it's very different depending on the niche and the market. There are markets, especially in Asia, in languages that Google doesn't understand well, where very spammy SEO can be successful. And of course, if you're in the US in a competitive niche with a lot of Google editors and manual checks, then of course you should try to keep things much cleaner. But what I personally think is that if a domain has bad history but is still in the index, Google is more or less fine with it. And even if you wouldn't want to use it as a money site or maybe 301, it's fine for a PBN. The logic is that if Google was going to penalize the domain when they saw a PBN on it 3 years ago, then they would have. If they keep it in the index, they see some value in it. But of course, this is up for testing, and it's relative to the niche and the market. How do you use SEO domains? And depending on the usage, what type of SEO domains should you try to find or buy? If it's for a money site, obviously it has to be clean because it becomes your website. It has to be relevant, so the links that it has continue helping you after you build your content. It has to be powerful because it's important for the money site. And it has to be brandable because the name matters for your money site. For 301 redirect, it doesn't have to be brandable anymore because the name disappears after the redirect. It still has to be clean, relevant, and powerful, but it's even more important that the links lead to the homepage, because for 301 redirect, if you have linked to thousands of inner pages, it's hard to collect them or redirect them. You have to find other relevant pages to redirect somehow, and it's going to be a lot of work, and there may not be any good ones, and it's a big mistake to redirect all the sub pages to the home page. It's very unnatural, and Google has filters against it. So for 301 redirect, it's very important that the links are to the home page. If it's for your money site, you can, for your money site, probably, and it's worth it to make the effort to recreate or redirect everything. But for 301 redirect, it's easier if the links are already to the home page. For PBN, relevancy is not so important anymore because you're just passing via a link, not directly. Still better to have it, but if you're a niche where it becomes very expensive to be relevant, something like finance, health, or gambling, then it's better to just go with powerful and other niche. Of course, it has to be index. Clean is not so important anymore, but index is mandatory because otherwise it may be penalized. And homepage links is again preferable, although maybe not as important as for 301 redirect. And if you restore from the way back, which is in my regard the better way of building a PBN, it's got to be powerful, it's got to be indexed, and you don't care anymore about where the links go to because everything is restored using Archivarics or another tool. So even if you have 1,000 links to 1,000 pages, you just restore them all, and it's all the more better and natural. If it's a PBN or PBN restore from the archive, of course, you don't want Google to catch you. So what do? Of course, whois is the easiest way for Google to catch you because with the APIs of domain tools or similar tools, they just click a button and see all of the domains that have the same whois, and it's very easy to see if they are all PBN lookalikes. So whois should be hidden. Now it's easier with GDPR. Just keep your domains under physical persons and nothing is seen in the whois for almost all extensions. The name servers and the IPs should be diverse, but I'm not a fan of putting every website on its own IP. That's a fingerprint of itself. That's not how the internet works in general. Most of the websites in the world are on shared hostings. So if all your links, all of your homepage links come from a website on different IPs, it's fishy. Google hasn't hit this fingerprint so far, but it's possible that they do in the future. So just shared hostings, Cloudflare, just use what the internet uses. Of course, themes, plugins, and everything else in WordPress should be different, should have no fingerprints. Your external links are your biggest unavoidable fingerprint because you want to link to your money site after all. But you should also link to other places, and if you have a PBN of 100 websites and you have one money site, linking from all of them to your money site will be the most unavoidable footprint. So you should give other footprints to a minimum, link also to other websites. You can sell links, exchange links, link to Wikipedia, whatever, just have some diversity. And you may not link to your money site from all of your PBNs. You can just exchange links or do something else to get the link anyway. But if you link from all of your PBN to the money site, it's the biggest possible footprint. And there's one thing I discovered when we were trying to reverse engineer some competitors, and there's one thing I discovered is the easiest way to spot a PBN. So what's the difference between PBN and a normal blog? So a blog with a real person behind it that just writes stuff. Well, in a normal blog, it would be natural for the person to write an article, then publish it, then in a week write another article, then publish it, then write another article, then publish it. Writing takes time, so you won't see like 5 articles published in a day. But what we tend to do with PBNs is we order content to some outsource copywriter. We write 3 or 5 or 10 articles, and then we publish them all at once because it's a PBN. Who cares? You just want to publish them and move on to the next one. So when you type the website name /feed, so you go to the RSS, you can see the publishing time, at least with the default WordPress settings, you can see the publishing time for each article. And if you see that there are articles published, like 3 articles for 5 minutes, then that's a PBN, definitely. There's no blogger that publishes 3 articles for 5 minutes. So when we made a random sample, we find out that you can find like 70 to 80% of PBNs in the world based on this alone. And of course, if we can do it, Google can do it. So that's something to definitely to keep in mind if you use WordPress for your PBNs. So PBNs are, of course, in theory, very effective. So why are then not so mainstream? Why do more resources go to guest posts, niche edits, other strategies? Well, PBNs are very annoying, and you have all the investment in the stars, you have the domain sourcing and buying, who is the IPs, the hosting, the content, the diversity of the themes and plugins, and of course, living with the fear that Google can ban you and you can lose everything at any moment, which is not so likely, especially in recent years, but still, you know that it can happen at any time. But once you build a PBN, it's really an amazing asset. It's an asset that does not depreciate in time. It gives value without any money. Renewing the domains is cheap, hosting is cheap, and you don't need to add new content to a PBN, in my opinion. So you can also sell links, exchange links. It becomes an asset that just brings a lot of value over time. So it's worth the effort, definitely worth the effort if you're in SEO for the long term. Here's a data sample that we make with a lot of domains we sold in a given period. The period is a bit behind because it takes people a lot of time to do something with the domains they buy, if they do at all. But it's a very diverse sample with a lot of buyers, no big buyers, just a lot of small buyers, 7,000 domains sold, and all of them domains with links. And 30% of the domains were never used. So this just stresses how much of an effort building a PBN is. There were a lot of domains that were bought and then never used, just paid, transferred, but never put to use, never any content uploaded, which is sad, of course. And when you buy domains, you should already have a plan for building something up, because if you plan to do it later, it just may become never. A surprisingly large number of domains became 301 redirect. Depending on my expectations, I expected something like 50%. It turned out to be 24. So even not so powerful domains are massively used for 301 redirect. Also, there are a lot of money sites. A lot of the single buyers who buy one domain, they make it a money site or 301 redirect. But of course, if someone buys 50 domains, they all become a PBN. A lot of people are using Cloudflare, and this number is only growing. I suspect that for the 2 years since the study, it has become something like 50%. A lot of the internet now resides in Cloudflare, so if your PBN is not huge, and you have other link sources, you can just use only Cloudflare. It's not gonna hurt in any way. But if you are like very PBN heavy and don't have many other links, you can mix it up with some normal shared hostings. Some PBNs, big PBNs, I saw are using their own name servers, so name servers to their own domain, and they're doing it on all of their domains, which I think is a massive footprint. That's not how a lot of the internet works again. So this red part here, you see that even in our SEO domain sample, it's a very small part. So if you're having all of your links from domain with your own name servers, even if they're all different, I think it can be a footprint for the future. I wouldn't recommend it. So a mix of Cloudflare and just normal shared hosting would be nice. For Whois, people were hit hard enough, so they know that the Whois should be either private, or there are also some very nice ccTLDs like the domains in Greece, Germany, Spain. So the ES, they don't have Whois at all, so it's you don't have to hide because it doesn't exist. That's why some of our buyers love buying those, so we have no hassle. There are, on the other hand, some countries where you cannot hide the whois, like Denmark and Ireland. It's annoying, but some of this 14% is not because the domain buyers are stupid, because there's literally no way to hide the whois, and you just have to mix different owners and hope for the best. But of course, it's easier for the usual extensions like .com, and most countries is now the whois is private by default. But it's as I said, it's very important to keep the owner a physical person, because if it's a physical person, then GDPR kicks in and everything will be hidden. If it's a company, not so sure, depending on the registrar, the extension, and they may decide to just list your company on every domain, and next day you can get hit. That's a very important thing. Penalized PBNs tend to get de-indexed. So we see that almost everything is indexed 2 years later. Google is not so keen on de-indexing PBNs anymore. I think they do it only if it's a very clear case of a network with whois or IPs or something that didn't have any diversity. Also, the ones that are not indexed, maybe some case where domain is abandoned or something and our other filters didn't catch it. I think that almost everything is indexed, even maybe more than 96%. So, of course, Google may still decide to devalue some links from a PBN, even though it's in the index. Some tests sometimes show that a PBN a link from a PBN can cause a website to go down rather than up, but Google cannot really press too hard on this, because then it can be used for negative SEO. So it's very likely to help. If it doesn't help, it's very likely to not move the needle. It's not so likely to hurt the website, but some people prefer to be on the safe side and test the PBN. So they just put a link to some test page, see if it goes up, and then they link the website, the real money website. Most people don't have the time and nerves to do this, and just link right away. A big relevance of WordPress on what is used on the PBNs, and I think that WordPress is a bit overused. In fact, I've never ever seen a pure HTML or restored from the archive with Archivarix PBN website banned. It seems that Google is targeting only the WordPress site as a rule. So I very much advise, if you don't plan to publish articles frequently, to just make the PBN a static website. You can restore old contact with Archivarix, or just it's easy on the hosting. You don't have all of this annoying hacks and brute force attacks to WordPress. The website will be leaner, faster, have less files, so you can use a much cheaper hosting, and you don't have all these annoying WordPress and updates and things crashing because they lose compatibility. Only good stuff if you don't use WordPress. Of course, it's not so easy to place a link, but you imagine that you do this several times a year on a PBN, not every day, so it's not that much of a bigger effort. And now we're moving on to 301 redirect. So first, 301 redirects are not exact science. It's a subject that is very hard to analyze, because I have seen a person buy 35 domains all at once, and half an hour later they are all redirected without preparation to a sub page, without using any of the good techniques that we'll discuss here, and 35 redirects at once. Massive boost to the link profile. But also I was wondering, how can Google possibly not filter this? But they didn't, and the website just shot directly up. It was a very large, powerful website. That's one of the explanations. The other, this was 3 years ago, so maybe it wouldn't work today. But I have definitely seen things work that shouldn't work on theory. And I have also seen things that should work, like buying a monster $20,000 domains and redirecting it and not moving the needle at all using the acquisition technique that we'll discuss in a minute. So it's not exact science. Not everything can be just explained why it works, why it doesn't work. The thing is to try. Redirect is something that would not hurt a website. If they could hurt websites, then negative SEO will be doing redirects left and right. And Google cannot afford this because if this was possible, then just negative SEO will be the real thing. It would be very hard to save the ecosystem of doing things for yourself rather than hurting the competition, which is important to Google in a way, because their reputation is kind of connected to doing things the right way in the SEO community. So Google cannot afford really for 301 redirects to be easily able to hurt websites. So you can try risk-free. You do the redirect, it helps or not helps. If it doesn't help, you can remove it, try to use the domain as a PBN or in some other way. Not really sure after the redirective if all the juice will be still there. Probably there will be some period to get it back, but also this has changed over time. It used to be the case several years ago that if you make a redirect and you confirm it in the search console, then it's just like stays forever. Even if you remove the domains from the search console and break the redirect, it's just Google still counts it's there. That's no longer the case, so they change back and forth on this one. But 301 redirects are very messy topic, and you should learn with practice. It depends on the website strength, the niche, the market, on basically everything. Here are the approaches that we can take on this. The most popular one that Matt Diggity recommends, it's called the acquisition technique. So you take a relevant domain, you create a subpage that you say you bought the domain, you redirect to this subpage. The homepage, I don't really know what you should do with the subpages in this case, because you have nowhere to redirect them to, and redirecting everything to one page is not natural in my view, and may hit some filter. A good trick is to include some of the old content, even though it has no direct relation to your website, to include it in this page. So this subpage, you include links to your most important money pages. You include a notice that you acquired the domain, and it's now part of your company or whatever. And in the bottom, you include something from the old website. Many people say this works. I have seen this strategy fail, so it's not a guarantee. But it's the most popular one. The thing I don't like about this one is because you redirect a homepage to a subpage, it's already, this is not completely natural. No one does this out of the SEO world, really. If Microsoft buys a company, they usually redirect it to either to something that is on a separate domain. So like they have things on a lot of different domains, and they buy a domain, and they see, oh, this is we bought this to integrate it into this subdivision. It has a domain of its own because it's a big one. It's big enough to acquire companies. So we redirect it to the homepage of this subdivision or to a subdomain. Sometimes it's very rare that anything that's bought is in the real world is redirected to a subpage. In fact, I don't think I have ever seen something like this in the recent years. The trend is to have different domains. If you're not, maybe there are other cases, but I think that it's much more common to redirect to the homepage of something. And if you redirect a domain to a subpage, I don't think in the Search Console you can confirm that you move the domain, because it's the address has changed, is not really made for this, so you cannot really confirm the redirect. And confirming is natural. I think in real life redirects, they're always confirmed in the Search Console if the webmaster knows what they're doing. So yeah, the acquisition technique kind of working at the moment, not entirely natural. The good thing is that you can make more than one, and you can redirect to different sub pages. I have been personally using the canonical technique, which is not so natural, but it can be confirmed in fact it is confirmed in the Search Console, which makes it natural in the eyes of the Google algo, which is maybe more important. So how does this work? You take your money site, you copy your content to the domain you're gonna redirect, only the homepage. You use only the homepage of the domain that you're gonna redirect, so you should definitely choose something with a majority of links to the homepage. Then the two websites have exactly the same homepage, so you put a canonical pointing to your money site, then you wait in the Search Console for the links to appear, and then you make the redirect. To your money site after the links appear, and there's a higher chance that Google will like the redirect, as they already like the canonical. And of course, the canonical is completely risk-free. You cannot hurt your website with the canonical. So does this work? In my experience, yes. Will it work in the future? I have no idea. Then there's the very, very slow transition technique, which is restoring the old content from the archive, and then page by page changing everything and integrating like the two websites until they become one. And then when they become one, you redirect everything to everything, and with all the sub pages. This is slow, it requires time and effort, but it may be the most natural technique. Not a lot of people have the nerves to do this though. And the least used is the subdomain technique. I've seen this used only once, but with great success. You take the domain that you're gonna redirect. Let's say it's example.com, and then you create an example.yourmoneywebsite.com, the same name but on the subdomain. Then you restore the content from the archive there to the subdomain, and you redirect all of the homepage and all the other pages from the domain you're gonna redirect to its copy on the subdomain, and then you put a single link to your homepage. This is very smart because you're just restoring old content, like your website has more content, but it's on a subdomain, so it's not gonna dilute your main website. Google regards subdomains as different domains mostly, but then you put your link from a subdomain to your main domain and pass all the link juice, but you can never be penalized for a link from your subdomain to your main domain, obviously. So you just kind of go around all the different filters that Google has. And it's this is not something the algorithm will penalize, I'm sure of it. The only way you can be hit with this technique is with some manual action, because the website that I seen doing this, it had redirected 70 domains and was thriving and just killing it. So 70 domains to 70 different subdomains, and they were mostly relevant, like not completely relevant. So it's definitely something you can look at. You can also redirect domains to some Web 2.0, like blogspots and other assets, and link from there, just using the same technique, but doing it in another safe way. So yeah, you can play a lot with redirects. There are a lot to experiment on. It's not exact science. There's a lot of testing. Things change all the time. But then again, a lot of huge success stories are made with redirects, as with SEO domains in general. So that's definitely something that's worth looking into. Yeah, that's from me today. Thank you. You can find the domains that we own and sell at SEO.domains. You can add me on Facebook, LinkedIn. I also started a Grey Hat group on Facebook that is now 1,500 people, and it's going really well. Tons of good discussions, including about SEO domains and their usage. So you can join there too and ask any questions. There are a lot of experts that are real SEOs, so better than me. I'm more of a domain expert these days that can answer your questions and help you. Thank you.
Kalin, thank you so much for your report. It was full of interesting and useful information for me, and I think that for our audience too. I think I'll check your report one more time when the record would be done, because there was a lot of new information for me. We want to thank you a lot for accepting our offer and taking part in our conference. I think that we'll see each other some more times in future. And thank you so much one more time.
Thank you too.
So Kalin, we have no questions, just I don't know why, but this happened. So
maybe it's the English, so
and bye-bye.
No problem. Bye.